Okay, we're ready to open the meeting of the Dudley Water and Sewer Commissioners. As always, we start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, meeting minutes from March 16th. Okay, what's the pleasure?
My paper hit it, yeah.
Recommendation that motion, we accept the minutes as written.
I'll second it, Mr.
Okay,
Chairman.
motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Okay, public hearing for to discuss water sewer rates. So we'll open the public hearing. It was posted for 6:30?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll open the public hearing at 6:37. So we do have a copy of the original water rate
And if you
study.
don't have those-
And then there's a copy in as well. Oh, Jen has
Bill-
copies as
I
well.
think Bill still has his in his folder.
Okay, there's still, there's a copy of the updated rates. And the pages we're concerned with are on page 8 and 9 for water. Sewer is unchanged as far as recommendations. And we're looking at fiscal year 23. I said that earlier and then circle 24. So, is there any discussion coming from the board?
I would say at this time that we're really having to look at the rate increase based on the fact that there is no debt exclusion for fiscal year 23 and 24. Therefore, the program rates that were projected, the projected rates, I think were around 12%. And I think that's where we have to start. Saying that, I think it's ridiculous to think in the future, when all the PFAS costs get involved, that we can continue passing on the cost of this to the ratepayers. There's got to be a debt exclusion, or else it's gonna be prohibitive for people to pay the rates. But for this year, there's no other alternative. It's either collect the rate or go in debt, and we can't do that.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes?
the Colonel's right on that. Also keep in mind that there is gonna be new occurrences that'll be coming in the next year or so, and we just got our first grant for PFAS, that was, so again, more is coming, I believe, I have more coming in. The meter reading has gone fantastic, and we're finding so much there that is cost us money. So, as we keep moving things along, I think a lot of things are gonna start materializing. The government's gonna be coming in with more assistance, things like that, so. But I think also proactive side, we can kind of start biting some bullet now and minimize further on as we get into 2024, and help cushion it a little bit.
We have to act based on what we know now.
Yes.
What we know now is that it's on the system, and that recommendation, what's that?
We don't have enough to cover our budget. We won't.
Yeah. Hey, we moved you over to that side knowing you were coming in. Okay, we've opened the public hearing for rate study. So,
Rate to 12.
Mr. Chairman?
Yep.
I think that was a very good breakdown by Bill. We're here, maybe 1 year, you're 12%, then review it.
You know, it'll be.
In the future, as you say, like I say, this PFAS language is developing, the federal and state government, lawyers, et cetera. We have to face, 12% increase to get through the fiscal '23 year. Can't hide it.
Okay, is there anybody from the public that's here for the rate study? The rate,
Mark, you'd have to come up to the table.
just come up to the table here, please, for anybody who's gonna, who speaks, if you could just sign in on that sheet there, just so that when our administrative assistant generates the minutes, she'll have names.
I just had a couple of questions.
Sure.
My name's Mark Suter. I own Twin City Cleaners,
Okay,
which this rates obviously affect me quite a bit. I was pulling out the last rates that you guys went up. I guess my question is this 12% going across tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3? Because last time, tier 1 went up 6%, tier 2 went up 21%, tier 3 went up 97%.
the last time when we set up those tiers, that was,
For the most part,
we
I fall
realigned
into
how
tier
things
2,
fell.
which is the 2,100 to 7,000 cubic
The,
feet, is it?
yep, cubic feet,
And it went
yeah.
from 425 to 517. So is this another 12% on top of that, or is tier 2 gonna be similar to this, where tier 2's more, bigger percentage?
Each tier
It's
should,
12%, if
each-
it's right on here.
yeah, each tier would be raised the same.
Okay, because that didn't happen last time.
Yeah, that was because what had happened is we realigned how the tiers were set up.
Right.
So that caused,
And I understand last
Cause-
time you were trying to get,
caused a one-time,
looked at other towns and you were looking to get similar to what the other towns were.
it caused a one-time.
No, it's just, it's tough with a business like mine in these economic situations. I made it through somehow through COVID pandemic. Now I gotta try and make it through the water rate pandemic. It's obviously a business like mine that gonna have to raise the rates on washing machines and, and the people that go in there are the people that can't afford a washer and dryer, or their washer broke down, or, I get people that use it for comforters and stuff, but for the most part,
I do.
it's the lower, people that can't afford it to begin with, and to go up on my rates there, it's just gut wrenching to have to do it. But I have to do what I have to do to survive, but this affects, when you're looking at your homes, it's only, 10 cents or something, where a business that uses a lot of water like mine, when your rate's already higher than what the residential rates are, it's quite a bit to add to, a washing machine. So that was my biggest question, because I saw the 12%, and I'm wondering if they're only talking residential or if they're talking the other tiers.
It'll be the from here on,
And
it should,
what's the reasoning for doing this? I mean, well, you're about a year and a half since the last rate. I mean, what happened that we need to raise it again so soon?
we're building, if you saw the big white tank next to our station down on Schofield Ave, and we are in the process of, we're out to bid right now to build a water treatment plant to deal with this PFAS chemicals that have come on the scene over the last 2 years or so.
Right.
That we've been fighting with it, trying to figure out the best way to move forward for our community. It's not a cheap process.
Nothing's cheap
You know,
anymore.
we're talking about the project, the upcoming project that's out to bid. It's in 2 phases, is gonna cost somewhere in the vicinity of $10 to $12 million. That's what we're looking at now in setting our rates to try to anticipate that. We can wait till we start paying that off, and we'll end up with a 30% or 40% increase, or we increase a little bit each year, and hopefully we're able to we're hoping to be able to level it off.
Ease the pain.
Yeah, ease the pain a little, a little bit over time, or a lot all at once.
There's a number of factors that'll get factored in there, grants that we've got in the mill. There's future dollars coming down from the feds and such, that may help. There's also a possibility of some money recovered from the PFAS contamination itself by a lawsuit, but that's a lawsuit that involves a lot of people, not just us. And quite honestly, my opinion is that the lawyers will make more money on that than we'll ever see. But we're not just sitting back saying, we're gonna pay for all this with money by rates. We've got to look at every possible way. But at the same time that we're facing these big bills, we also have to maintain the system.
Right.
And the system is in dire need of upgrade. And it's just, everything has come to fruition at the same time. And
When will
so-
these rates take effect?
July 1st.
July? Okay.
Okay?
I just wanted to raise my concern of prices going up.
I feel your pain. I'm a ratepayer
We're all
myself.
payers, we're all users. And you know, Mark, a lot of this is controlled by the DEP. They're controlling us and telling us what has to be done, and our engineer is here. If there's anything else, Jeff, you could say it's, our hands are tied. It's all mandated. Just so the public knows what's taking place.
Good evening, Jeff Faulkner from Ty and Bond. So rate increases are never fun, but they're looked at, the Water Sewer Board had us look at the rate structure and the rates in 2020, and then a minor review about 3 months ago. And it was reviewed, and actually the recommended rate increase for FY '23 is a little less than it was in 2020. So
Right.
Looking at it again in this year allowed the grants and the project costs to be taken into consideration with more information known to allow the rate increase recommendation to be lower than it was in 2020.
Yep. The 2020 recommendation in 2020, the original rate study, recommended an 18% increase this year. And we've been able, by actually living out the process, we've been able to cut that down by a third. So, and I'm hoping that things will, as we live it out to the future, I'm hoping we can cut those increases but we won't know until we get there, unfortunately. I know when my wife sees the water bill, she's gonna go nuts. So you voted another increase? So,
The bills don't stop.
yeah. Fortunately, she doesn't watch these meetings, so I got a reprieve for a little while.
Thank you, Jeff.
You can have my bill if you want.
Any other concerns or any other commenters from the public? Anything else from?
Can I have one thing?
Sure.
My son-in-law has said that to me, that his water bill has never gone up so much since you got on that board.
Yeah. No, I mean, we're
Been
living
here
it.
2 years.
Okay, if that's the case, then we'll close the public hearing at,
Chairman, we need
Sure.
to discuss the, like, the new 4%, the connection fees and all that.
okay, is that?
If you wanna implement that.
Okay,
You gotta
all right,
discuss it.
scratch that then. All right. At our last meeting, we also talked about new connection fees,
New and
change of use, yes. For new use and for if there's a change of use and connection. That was a flat rate, and it was a,
percentage of the cost.
4%?
no, but what it currently is now is just a flat.
Right. we have-
Flat, and what we're proposing to do is to make it a 4% increase, 4% of the cost of the project, the value of the project, as per the building permit,
Connection fee.
for a connection fee, that's for new users.
But it's dedicated for infrastructure improvements and upgrades.
Right. That's, okay. Anything further there?
I think that, just to talk to his point, that this is an attempt to
Yes.
help alleviate the burden put on the existing customers, and hopefully reduce the amount of increases in the future.
Are we gonna make that as a motion?
We can't make motions during a public hearing. Close the hearing first. Okay, anything else? Okay, we'll close the public hearing then at 6:49. What is,
Now we make that motion?
yes,
Bob, you wanna make that motion now?
So are we making the motion to accept the 12% increase and the 4%?
that's correct.
So I make a motion to.
We have two separate, I think it's best
You want
to
two
do
separate?
two separate motions. It's just two separate things, yeah.
So we'll make a motion to accept the 12% rate increase per the rate study for all the tiers, tier 1, 2, and 3.
Starting in July?
Second.
To take effect starting July 1st.
Okay. That's good with you? Okay.
Second it.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And that'll be unanimous. Okay, and
So I'll make a motion to implement a fee for infrastructure upgrades and development, system development for a 4% cost, based on the total cost of the project, based on the building permit. And that
But-
money would be earmarked for any infrastructure upgrades and future expansion.
And that's for new use,
For any new or change of use of existing.
I'll second it.
Okay. Did you get that, Jed?
1 second. And it was just a infrastructure upgrade. The fee for is for infrastructure upgrade and
Upgrade and expand, or future development.
thank you, I missed that part. Okay, thank you.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous.
We need to do sewer rates.
Oh, sewer rates, yeah. Sewer almost slipped right under the. Okay, and the sewer is proposed at 15, yes. And that,
was,
oh, that's the original, yeah, that didn't change. And then that will be, that will,
63.
that will be all, that'll zero, you won't have to raise that rate. If everything stays the same, we won't have to raise that rate again until,
And all that stuff too.
for 3 to 4 years.
Well, it depends what we come up with, what's.
It depends on, yeah, depends on what happens with the true up and all of that. We'll be discussing that further into the meeting. Okay, what's the pleasure? Yes.
so I make a motion to implement the 15% rate increase for the sewer fees and charges as per the rate study.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? Okay,
Effective 7/1/22.
Effective July 1st.
effective July 1st. Okay, take it to a vote then. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous.
Mr. Chairman, if it's possible, I'd like to see if we could move number 9 in after number 5, after you do number 5, just because what's after that could be.
Yes, okay, we can do that. 18 Farley Road, permission to tie into water.
How are we doing tonight?
Great.
So, my name is Brian Betancourt, bought the house a couple years ago. Okay, I've been at Dudley since 2016. Trying to split off from 11 Farley? Yeah, 11 Farley, who's
Okay.
all tied together. So just trying to split off the water line, 11 and 18 separate water meters.
Sure.
That's where we're at.
The old way of doing things.
That's right. It's all one big,
That,
Headaches.
just for some history on that, that line runs from Dresser Hill. It actually was fed by an old well way back in the day, which probably about 10 years ago, I don't know if Jay remembers, or 12 years ago, the water department actually disconnected that. It was actually almost cross-contaminating. But it's been tied into Dresser Hill. It runs from Dresser Hill all the way to Mr. Hall, Mr. Hall's property. And the other house, Mr. Hall's other house that was his, ran off that line. So accountability only came from 1 meter in a pit at Dresser Hill. I think way back, I think it was me maybe told him, I says, in order to separate these properly, you're gonna have to run 2 separate lines out, but not connect another line into Dresser Hill, but it was just connected to Mr. Hall's original line at the meter pit with a separate pit, meter, straight, paralleling the other one to the other house, just to make things neat and clean. So, This is, I think, where we're at this point now, where they're doing that actual work to separate those houses out, so that the meter, one meter's for Mr. Hall's, one meter's for the other one, and they're totally separate lines, but they're tied in together and with one service, to the main.
So you have one service main to curb, and then you're gonna split there, 2 meters.
In the, yeah, 2 meters, so it'll be a split off into another pit with a meter. He'll have the original pit, it'll be two different shut-offs,
So you have
separate shut-offs, and off they go running.
It's contrary to everything we've been trying to do.
Yeah, you know, what this was done, yeah,
Try to fix, an old world thing.
yeah. And I can't say for sure why this was done originally back, except the well was failing at the
Well,
time, I
it was a
believe.
dairy farm, they needed the
Dairy
water.
farm needed the water, and
Yeah,
it
they
was
needed the
done
water.
that way to give them water. So,
So now we have 2 lines going across, 2 lines going through the field?
Can I say something?
Sure.
At
Just
the
come on
time-
up.
Just come on up.
I'm Andy Hoganson, I actually did the work. At the original time when the, George Hall had problems with it. So I went to the water department to fix the service, because it was leaking from the town's curb stop into the well tile where the 11 Farley Road meter was. So at the water department, it was discussed when, 11 Farley Road, which was still the same property. In the meantime, after we fixed it, she sold the house to Brian. And she discussed it, and the only way the water department would accept it is adding another meter into that well tile. So at the time when the service was leaking from the town curb stop to the water meter, I replaced that with the direction of the water department, where I put another curb stop in to supply 18 Farley Road. So that's already plumbed from the curb stop to the well tile itself. And then the second meter can be added into the well tile up above. And I've already replaced the new water line down through the woods, because I had to, because of the wet area, and I had to do it in the wintertime, and across the cornfield, because they're getting ready to plant the crops on the farm. So we're at the stage before we can get the meter, and to actually cut the line that runs across to 18 to tie it in with the new line, that's where we're at right now.
So there's already a separate,
I just put a brand-new separate line in.
but there's
And
already a
it's-
separate curb stop as well?
Yep, there's a separate curb stop for 18. And the town already inspected the water department, and I did tee it off. So it comes off the town curb stop, teed to another curb stop, into the well with a shut-off valve. So 11 has a shut-off valve, 18 has a shut-off valve, so they're both separated inside the well, and with the main town shut-off at the main. And that was the best way they could figure out how to do this whole situation, because it's screwed up. It's basically as I can say it.
Just so I'm aware, George, you've been there? You've been
Been there
involved?
way back, yeah.
I mean, you didn't use well jet, you used like the blue plastic 200
It's all the
PSI,
blue plastic, yeah.
and the corresponding Ford brass fittings,
Yeah,
compression
yeah,
and everything.
they're all right
else.
in there, yeah.
They actually bought them off from us.
I got it all.
And you'll put a meter over across the street in 11 and beyond
The meter's up at top up at Dresser
That's what,
Hill.
yeah, it's the meter pit, yeah, you're off the road.
The meter pit.
So you've crossed under Farley Road to get into the new house?
It's, that line was existing. We're
What-
tying it in on 11 Farley Road, that exists to
Doing
go.
it before they go crosses
Yeah,
over
but is that,
we're not-
road.
is that? the
That's already
prop-
established line.
But is
Is
it
it-
the proper pipe or is it well jet?
It's either copper or, I think it was copper line.
It's whatever they put in way back when they did it.
Well, what I'm getting at is if it's a 100-pound well jet that you use on, wells or something like that, well, yeah, yeah.
He'll have to take care of it if there's ever
Yeah,
a leak over
yeah,
there.
'cause
That's
it's
gonna
on
be
your
their-
side
their
anyhow.
dilemma.
Yeah,
It's been, I've replaced partial of the line before this all happened, that was leaking in the cornfield. And I repaired that section, and I did use the brand new, the 200 PSI well
Yeah.
line. I mean, it is what it is when you're repairing water line that's there. You can't follow it, you can't rip up the street and, right now, this new line's over almost 900 feet long.
Yeah,
To come off of that well to do a separate line.
I'm just thinking, you had the old well for the house, but yeah, like I say, when they tied into their farmhouse years ago, that had to have been either copper or 200.
It was,
years.
across
That time.
31, it was copper. But of course, doing the drainage work on 31,
Yeah.
not to say that, but the town of Dudley kind of ruined the well line, because there was a switching valve in there before where you could switch it from town to well in case something happened to the town water, or they could go back to the well water to keep the farm with the animals running. That's what the whole idea with it was, back before
Yeah.
the original times when people just said, do it, you know, and now it's different.
Okay, so, what's the,
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I think,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if we need permission to proceed or permission to have George inspect it and get the meter out
We-
there and.
Just that you acknowledged it, it's going to be inspected by the crew.
I do have pictures of it that I ran up through right now already. And like I say, when I did fix from the town curb stop to the meter well, where the meter is for 11 Farley Road, the water department was up there and they all inspected that at the time.
This whole well pipe type line that disintegrated way back.
No, I mean, the main.
So you just have to purchase the meter now?
That's what it is right now, the meter, and then tie into where I can break it to go to 18. And there is an easement that was put on from, for 18 and 11 Farley Road for the water.
Yeah, we're trying to do this the right way.
Oh, yeah.
Make, so we don't have, because no one wants to go back and.
I'm not cheating, I'm not trying to
we're- I mean,
steal.
we're doing,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And that was
I know
what I
you,
was
Andy,
told
so-
to do, huh?
I know you.
Yeah.
we
I know.
find that all the time, like I say, do it right the first time, easement-wise, et cetera, you know?
At least your end will be taken care of, so when we have a problem on
Yeah,
our
true.
end, we can straighten that out at
Right,
that time.
I mean,
It's
it was,
another
it was
meter.
discussed before,
Another meter, help with the rates.
and,
You're actually looking for a reconnect because you had the meter, so, because you were on water anyway.
both houses are all on the same, it's been running that way anyhow.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's a reconnection.
Adding a meter in.
All we're doing is splitting it up
It's
metering-wise.
separating the two properties so each get the same reading, so.
Yep.
The both of them aren't trying to figure out who's using more water.
That's fine with me, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Do you need a motion on that?
Can't hurt.
I'll make a motion to approve the suggested split and installation of an additional meter.
I'll second it.
That's for 11 and 18 Farley Road. Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye, opposed? Unanimous. Stay in touch
Thank
with
you very
George.
much, appreciate it. I'll be back during the week and we'll.
Not a problem, thank you.
In the office, yep.
Good to see you, Scott.
Good to see you as well. Okay, and I guess it's been requested to move 9 up at this point, correct?
So we can take care
Okay,
of Joe.
so we take care of this and then we'll get on with the other stuff, because some of that could take some time. Okay, easements and abatements. Joe? So, we've been working for a while now to ease up to get the easements for the new water main project. We're almost there. And then the last part was the agreement for water, in your case, for a water abatement for your property, and we sent that out to you, and you had some questions?
Yeah, I'm Joe Nerojinski. I really haven't had a chance to look at it a lot. I mean, I have,
Yeah, I understand that.
but I haven't. I do have a couple of questions. One of them is as far as the paragraph with the agreement becoming null and void with the sale or the transfer of the property.
Right.
I plan on living there until I die.
Okay,
I mean, that could be tomorrow, it could be 20 years from now.
Hopefully it's longer than that.
Hopefully, yeah.
Hopefully, well, you know, I'm going by how the family tree's running. Now, I'm also in the process of working with my sons and other people as far as if I get a life, and I don't know how the.
Life tenancy?
Life tenancy or life estate, we put into a trust, and my name is not on that deed because it goes to a different point. Does this become null and void? Because when I sent that to Jen, and she came out, you know, mentioned a thing about, you know, as long as my name is on the deed of the property, but there are cases of it being set up so that you're not on there.
That's what I was gonna say, I didn't even consider that concept,
we
but
did-
I wouldn't be opposed to,
No,
if he has life tenancy.
life
then-
tenancies or anything,
They're in
yeah.
there.
Okay.
As long as you're living there, we've made the agreement with you. That will last for as long as you're there.
You want the wording in there, as long as you live there, it's in effect.
Well, I'm just, you know,
No, I understand
so
your-
that both
your
of us
point.
are
I
at
think
the
it's a
same
valid
point. I
point.
mean, I know that this is at a point where this is not at finitum, you know,
No.
for the next whatever. I mean, when I die, I know that this is it. So, I mean, I'm just looking out for both of us if that's something, you know, the wording just needs to be changed.
Okay.
And the only other thing that, I mean, as far as the water usage goes, at the 1,000 cubic feet, now, I've been living there by myself for quite a while. If something comes down to a point and I have to have somebody come move in with me, or, I mean, I don't foresee it, but if I ever got remarried, if there were children that, you know, whatever, I see that as a real nothing that's really gonna happen, but, I don't know if that 1,000 is something, is that,
Do you have the history?
I do, I can just tell you that that's your highest, your average is 500.
right,
I went back
understand
10
what you're
years.
saying,
Same
though.
thing.
But his
He
point
is.
is that he's living alone, and
Right.
Right, no, I
his kids
completely,
move back in, and, you know,
Yeah,
I still
Just-
see a valid
the
point
question
there.
is, his family moves back in to take care of.
I know my usage for my wife and I is around 700.
What's the usage for a normal family?
It could
depends.
vary depending on what you get
There's
for
nothing
kids
normal.
and things.
yeah,
Nothing's normal nowadays.
I mean,
right.
I can tell you what the old industry standard was,
Right.
you know, based on a quarterly, would be about 2,150 cubic feet
Per,
per quarter.
per person?
No,
No.
per, like an average single-family residential usage.
21, oh, for a family of 4?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, a family of 2, I'm not even.
4.25 or whatever it
Yeah.
was at the time.
That'd be a good number for you?
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's something that I don't think I'd ever approach. And I mean, even though it's a small house, it is a 3-bedroom, it's got
Yeah.
you know, the septic was designed on a 3-bedroom, it's a 1.6, I have 1 toilet, 1.6 gallon,
Yeah.
and a washing machine, you know, standard hot point, nothing that's, you know, like industrial or anything, so. I just, you know, I don't think it'd ever approach that, but I'm just looking at the future, that's
Yeah.
all.
No, we don't want to shortchange, believe us, we want this, so everybody's happy.
Yeah, so, I mean.
Had to put some number in there.
Yeah, I mean, if you gotta put a number in it, I mean, it'll never, I don't ever see it, and the thing of it ever becoming commercial, industrial, that's never gonna happen.
Right.
You know, it just, I don't see a major plant going on 3.5 acres. That's it, so,
Not gonna build a hammer factory,
no,
as
no,
another friend used to always say.
no, we're trying to get away from society as it is right now. So, I
So
mean.
what number are you comfortable with?
Well, I mean, if you wanna throw it at the 21, that's fine, but, I mean, I don't ever see that happening.
Yeah.
So,
I
I
don't
mean, that would just cover it that way, and,
Yeah.
as far as, you know, the other thing goes, I'm talking with an attorney right now, going over some of that stuff, I mean, as far as the life estate and whatever. I just haven't had a chance to really talk with my kids about it.
You know, on that topic, you could end up with like an irrevocable trust or something like that, and you wouldn't have any say. Your children that you put the trust in would be the owners, and you would reside there.
Right,
So there's, like I say, there's a lot of legal trusts, names, your
Right.
name is taken off to protect it, and the people that run the trusts, their names are put on the
Right.
property, but you're still living there.
right. I mean, so we haven't
point.
sat down and finalized how that's gonna be.
We couldn't put every contingency.
Oh,
in.
no,
Like I said, that was one I didn't even
No.
consider, didn't.
yeah, no, I
Didn't
know
cross
that.
my mind.
As long as you were
If we add-
living and
yeah.
residing at
we
that
add that
address,
to the paragraph,
something on
just-
that idea.
Yeah, I
What's
guess so.
wrong with the term life tenancy?
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, can I have Jeff come up for a minute? I just wanna have him emphasize, because we were talking about this, where we stand with this whole thing, because we're
I know.
really
The
strict on the,
timeframe
on
is
the
tight.
timeframe.
Yeah,
Jeff, you just come
yeah.
up, just let everybody know.
With everything going on, and it just, it's been, we're crunching now.
And while you're here, Joe, I will say thank you for working with us the time I came and met with you. You know, everything went a lot smoother than third party here and everything, so.
Yeah.
I appreciate the effort.
He said, she said never works.
So Jeff Faulkner from Ty and Bond. So we're currently out to bid on the treatment plant and the water main projects. Bids are due April 28th, 3.5 weeks from now or so. Once those bids come in, we write a letter to both you as a board as well as DEP, looking for approval to award. A DEP will not allow the project to be awarded unless the town's attorney signs off that the certificate of title of all the land issues of this project are resolved. So, you know, essentially, we have until April 28th. But I think the attorney needs a little bit of time
So
to,
you're gonna need time to
Yeah.
record documents and everything.
Get
Yeah.
recorded. Okay, so, I guess, yeah, we'll be in touch. We can add whatever verbiage we need to in that abatement agreement, so that we can get this moving.
Okay, so what is the date for the easement that has to be signed by?
Ooh, the next week or so for the
It has to
easement.
go to the attorney.
Because we have to get it to council so that it can be recorded at the courthouse, and then, or wherever it has to be recorded, and then, so we can get it to the state.
Okay, but this doesn't need to be done by then.
No, that doesn't need to be done by
That
then.
doesn't need to
No,
be
but the
done.
easement-
As long as we all know we're all in
Easement
agreement.
itself.
The easement papers that you
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes.
told me about, they have to be notarized and all of that, they have to be signed.
Yes.
Okay.
So before you, I just wanna, if I could, so I can, put in there life tenancy.
Yeah.
You know, that's,
Yes.
we can put that in. And what did you decide upon for water usage? I just wanna be sure.
2150 was like what is it typical?
So we round up, so 2100, you want me 2100 or 22? You tell me.
Either one's fine, it's,
I don't think he's ever gonna,
22.
22?
You might adopt.
Yeah. I might get a dog.
A thirsty
at this age, he might get adopted.
Oh, nobody
I'll
wants
start
them.
raising beef cattle down there on the 3 acres then.
So, Joe, you want us to be in contact with you, or do you wanna contact Jen? When you're ready for anything, we can,
I'll send you the new one tomorrow.
Okay,
Tomorrow morning, I'll get in at 7 and I'll have it to you, be by 8 o'clock, the latest.
okay.
Can't have it done tonight?
anything is possible.
Okay, your review's coming up. Yeah, okay. Have to joke at some of this stuff, I'm gonna cry.
To both you and Jane, just so you know, I'll
Yeah,
email
yeah.
both of you.
I guess that's it.
And we'll have the same discussion with the laws
If
as well.
when you said you didn't really study it that close, so you see something else, feel free, we'll, you know.
Okay,
We're
yeah.
not,
We
we're
can
not trying to
work-
blindside anybody.
We can work on that part of it, that's
Okay.
easy.
So the important thing right
The
now.
important thing is
you
to
need
get the easement
done.
paperwork done, so we can get it to council.
Okay, I'll talk with, I'll try to talk with my sister tomorrow and get that all straightened out, and, I think everything else should be all set.
Cool.
Thanks for coming in, Joe.
Thank you.
And you had a discussion with the other party?
Yeah, similar circumstance,
Okay.
something about the volume number.
Right.
Other than that, everything was good.
Okay, good. Oh, again, get it word, you know, it's, okay,
All right, thank you.
thank you, thank you.
Are you gonna need me there next week?
Don't need you there, but if you want to be there, that's fine.
I'm gonna be at the house, so if you need, just let me know. Thank you.
Okay, Joe.
Have a good
Thanks,
night,
Joe.
Joe.
Have a good night. All right, so, you'll be in touch with the other party and like, the same thing. As long as we can get the easement signed, we can work on the other part of it.
Anything have to be sent over to Charlie, updated things, or is he?
I believe I sent it to him. I'll make sure. Yeah,
Just follow up, just a follow-up email, say, you know,
yeah.
as
I
we
res-
discussed.
I resent it to him after, yes.
Because
I
we
thought-
talked, when I talked to him, we talked about the
Yes.
original one, and.
Yes, but I will tomorrow morning make sure. I'll reach out to him again.
Okay, you're next on the agenda.
Okay, great.
You don't have to introduce yourself, we don't.
That's okay. Before I get started, I just want to let you know I was at a Waterworks conference today in Worcester, and I ran into Marina, and she wanted me to say hello to you.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
So George asked me here tonight to speak on a couple of sewer topics. The town of Dudley is a co-permittee of the Webster wastewater NIPD's permit, and that was just reissued a little while ago. One of the requirements in that is for each community, Dudley and Webster, to do an operation and maintenance plan for their collection system. The first step of that is basically the beginning part of the plan, which includes a schedule of the full plan. The first part is due June 1st of this year, so about 2 months. The second part, which is the full plan, isn't due for 2 years. But wanted to advise you on that first part, and I think George would like our assistance to pull that together. Any questions on that?
So this,
Proposal or proposed cost, estimated cost?
We can work on, I wanted to come to the meeting first to get any consensus of whether you wanted our assistance or not. We can develop that for next week.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I'm aware of what's going on with
Yep.
it, and it's far more than he can take on at the
Sure.
moment, so.
Yep.
And it's a bit more involved and technical, so I would probably recommend we get a proposal, and
now, what is this this plan?
it's a new requirement. for-
Operation and maintenance?
Operation and maintenance of your, since you don't own or you don't operate the treatment plant, you're just operating the collection system.
Yep.
So it's basically a map and an understanding of your sewer system.
Well, we've done all that on the water side, we might as well do
Yeah,
it
well,
with the
Mike and I
sewer.
have already discussed it, and we've already, beginning to put things together so that it'll make it helpful to put all our apparatus sort of together.
The clean water side, well, let's get the dirty water side now, too.
The reason behind it is they're looking to make sure that they're probably got spark from Shrewsbury is my guess,
Yeah.
pouring into Lake Quincy.
Oh, yes, Worcester,
So they're,
that's Worcester.
they're trying to make sure that stuff like that doesn't happen.
Reactive.
Yeah,
So they wanna make sure you have things in place and plans in place and operate correctly so that you don't have those backups and overflows.
yeah, that was a Worcester thing down on Lake Ave.
It's happened often,
I
too.
know Shrewsbury's done it several times.
Yep.
That's where is kinda sparked from, I believe.
Okay.
Second item is a sanitary sewer overflow public notification plan. That's not specifically tied to the NIPD's permit. It's a new DEP requirement. And what they would like each system to be ready to do is to understand what you would do in the event of a sanitary sewer overflow, including a requirement for public notification, that is, the plan for that is due July 6th. George, did you have any comments on that part?
Yeah, we have a lot of that we've kind of established already for what we've been used to for the last few times it's happened. But to meet the proper language with DEP, we want to make sure we're on the same barrier as they are.
There's all new requirements.
Yeah,
that
you-
just came
so,
out,
so you used to have to definitely notify DEP of an event.
Now there's a
The new requirement is you have to notify the public, I believe within 24 hours of the overflow.
So what do we have? Do we have a plan already in place?
Nothing that now is comparable for DEP. It
Like I
has to
said,
be
there's all new
all the
requirements
requirements done.
that are all
Okay.
far more advanced than.
But we've got a baseline.
We have, on all this stuff, we have materials to offer to help
Yeah.
what we do. But this has to be put into a nice template that's all brand new now to DEP. And I rather do this the right way the first time than
Might
get
as
into
well.
trouble.
The fool said.
And
All right.
you need a plan in place on how you're gonna do the notifications to the public. Before, you didn't notify the public, you just notified DEP. But now you need a plan in place so that if it happens, you can notify within 24 hours.
And they will review it and approve it, like everything
It'll go
else.
through a process, I guess.
What's the due date on that, July 6th?
Yeah, July 6th.
They might approve it, they'll at least acknowledge that you submitted it.
Yeah.
That's all that matters, at least, and they'll tell you if you did something wrong or right or whatever.
Okay.
I can leave you the instructions for it. It's dated March of 2022, so it's literally only a week or two old.
George? Yep.
When's the due date on the plan for that?
July 6th.
Just pass that over.
Thank you.
I also think, George, you'd like some assistance on some private inflow work, potentially with Nichols College area or some sump pumps.
Yeah, that's gonna be cranking up again as soon as we get kind of through this little muck here, but yeah, they're aware of it. They're ready to gear up some of their, I have to go back in contact with them again to see if they continue what we've been doing. But the better off we're notifying and documenting, the better we're gonna be. If we don't find anything or something happens, you know, that we did what we could possibly do, they did what they could possibly do.
The construction work for the II mitigation is essentially done. We're on what we call punch list phase, where there's only a handful of remaining work items to be done by the contractor. We would expect that to be done by May.
We just signed a voucher for it. There's still a sizable amount.
Yep, yeah, when we get to this, the final payment to the contractor, there's what's called a release of retainage as well. So you've been keeping 5% of all the work
Yep.
completed
I
until
saw
the
that,
end.
but the
Yep.
bottom line that was still left on that contract is
Yep.
still a sizable amount of money.
Yep. But as it gets completed, you know, there are still some areas of town that are of concern.
Right. And the hill is, Dudley Hill is up near the college.
Yep.
That is,
Yep.
look,
Main Street had an SSO at some point in time.
Yes.
And I believe we'd like to respond to DEP on
Yeah,
that.
I think I told a couple of members of the board, that last incident was one of 8 years ago, between the one before that. Remember, you used to have the sewer truck parked on the manhole. Right now, we've gone through a lot of money, expense, and trouble to go do this I&I to fix all that upper side and see if that was a contributing factor. So I've asked for a waiver from DEP because they want us to explore further down as the pipes go down towards the sewer plant. They're all irregular sizes. And I'm not solely convinced that that is all the problem, that the problem originated from all the inflow we had up top. And we found a lot of infiltration on the Alton Drive area, that area.
That 10-yard road, that amount of water going
Yep.
into that station at that point,
Yep.
that all went downhill.
Yeah,
That-
Nichols too, but I'd like to see, and I'm sure there's gonna be a good rainstorm sooner or later, just to see how we fare now, with a storm, and to see if there's any liftage of the covers or whatever. And that'll give me a good idea that, okay, we've pretty much did a lot of mitigating there. If they're gonna make me go further, I'm sure anyway, but right now, let's see where we are now, and so I'm trying to hold them off a little bit, just to, you know, get us through this part of it, and see if that's actually worked or not, because once I start tampering further down, changing everything out, I'll never really know if this was really, you know, how much of a difference there is between before and now, you know? So that was kind of my game plan with Jeff and the guys, is just do that, because we did, with the last one, did spark it off with the DEP. We got ourselves under the umbrella
We
now.
had two in the
You know, it's-
matter of a year, so.
So, through you, Mr. Chairman, are you aware of any manhole monitoring devices? I know Mission has one that it monitors your manhole levels, and it's like a continuous monitoring. You can set levels if it hits a certain point to set an alarm.
I think, yeah, I'm aware of that in general. Is that something you'd be interested in doing?
I think it's probably a good idea on that one area, just because you've had more than one.
Talking about right in front of the driveway to the water,
Right.
yeah.
So,
Yep.
I don't know if you've seen them before, George, but
I
they
think I
make
know
a
what you're
device
talking
that
about,
you can
the-
mount inside the manhole, and
Yeah.
it
It'll measure the level.
measures the the level of flow.
So,
for
Even
one.
if it doesn't come up, it might give an idea what
But
yeah.
it's a continuous monitoring. You can check it at any time. It logs everything continuously. I think it would be a good tool for you to use to gather data as well. And you can watch, and you'll see rain events, you know, and that same equipment monitors rainfall and everything. So you could correlate when you see rain
We'll be able to
events,
see
and all
if-
of a sudden now you got a spike in flow.
if it's
We know-
because
we
stuff's
know-
being held back, or if
Well, we know
it's,
we need to do some additional I&I work
Yeah.
at that
Does it
point.
send you the information, or you gotta?
You can just pull it up. It's a internet-based
Yeah,
thing.
that's what I meant.
It will, you can set all the parameters in there that you want. If he wants it to call everybody in the department, he can do that, but
He doesn't have to open the manhole to read it.
no. It should, you can look at it at any time and see what the levels are. I mean, if he was anal about it, he could sit there and watch it all day long. When, in a rain event, and see, uh-oh, we're getting
yeah,
close, we're gonna
when,
go do something.
yeah, when,
So,
that's probably not a bad idea.
Can we get a price on that?
Explore that sort of thing.
I don't know what the price is off the top of my head, but I'm guessing there's probably a $600 a year fee to keep the monitoring live, but I think it's well worth it. If you can catch an event before it happens.
Yeah.
Right,
And avoid an overflow, I think it's money well spent. And plus, like I said, it works towards the I&I where we can say, all right, we know we're having a problem from this point up somewhere, so we need to start finding where it's coming from. So I don't think it would be a bad idea.
Yeah, just put like July 1st.
Well,
July
the-
1st, look into that.
The question on that one, then, Mr. Chairman, before the siphon or after the siphon? Towards the fire station side or towards the water department driveway
Right
side?
at the water
I would do it
department.
right where it bubbles up.
Is that?
That's the worst point right there.
That's at the downhill side, that's on the other side of the
Yeah,
siphon?
that's the one where we get the first flows coming up. And you see, as you had the big one there, the
Yeah.
other ones were tapering.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Down
You
over
do
there.
see the difference in them?
Yep.
Yeah, so I guess that'd be up to you to figure out what the best
Yeah.
location is to give you something that's representative.
Yeah, it sounds like a good idea, again.
So in general, what we're talking about is some general assistance on the II side, you know, for like beyond the construction phase.
So just one question on the Nichols portion. Is that work that we're gonna be doing?
Nichols is gonna be doing that's private, well, that's their private.
Right, that's their private
So
system.
they're gonna be doing the work. They've already done some work up there. What we think is going on is that there may be some more manholes that have been disrupted or broken or whatever, because there's a lot of flow there. And that would have to be a real, you know, something, either a pipe's collapsed up there, something's happened. I mean, it's hard to say, but I wanna start systematically moving ourselves towards the well, towards Tanyard Road, and see what we can come up with. Some of them areas originally were repaired by Ramco way back, and they think maybe, again, there could have been some destruction in areas, you know, behind the buildings there.
Where does
my question.
drainage at the football field go?
That comes right out to the manhole down at the bottom there, right, down, by Tanyard Road.
Drainage off
One
of
of
the
that
football
drain,
field?
yeah, it's right there by the hydrant. It comes in somewhere in that area right over there. So I'm still trying to work something with Justin and get a schematic of exactly how they're, because they did some work up there.
We have a camera, correct?
Yeah.
So I guess my question is
Remember buying it?
is Nichols paying you, or how is that?
What we would be proposing is a meeting with Nichols, but it would be more like the town directing the private entity what they should be doing to not bring in II into your system.
Okay.
Yeah, it wouldn't be working on their system for them.
Oh, okay.
Unless they wanted you to.
Well, that becomes a conflict if our engineers are
Oh,
doing work
yes.
for.
Yeah, I'd rather have.
They have their own
Well,
engineer.
Right, yeah. That's why I was asking,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out.
I mean, I'm willing to spend a little money on their behalf too, just to get this problem, you know, if it takes a little bit of our engineer assisting a little bit to get something.
I believe they have their own engineers they work with.
Yeah, they've got-
I wouldn't be on board with
Construction
us
projects up there.
paying to do anything at Nichols. I mean, I think we
No,
should be
that
looking
wouldn't
at
be the
Nichols to see if
plan.
if they'll give a donation towards the PFAS treatment plant myself, but, I mean, there's times that you could do like a 53G account or something where they're doing the work for us on behalf of them and they're paying to do
Yeah.
the work to get it done, but
Okay.
I just wasn't sure what that was the first I've heard of it,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, it wasn't intended for the town to pay for any work on private.
Right.
And the last thing I had was just a heads up. The next round of the SRF asset management grants are expected to come out in July, due in August. We're working on the water one now, about halfway through, primarily working with Brian. But now that, you know, you have the water system, are gonna have that, generally have a plan for that. The asset management plan is beyond the collection system, so any of your sewer pump stations, we would like to, you know, recommend you have inspected and have a plan for that. That's, you know, from my work in town, it's probably a little lacking in that you don't have a full plan on the sewer pump station side.
How are we making out with the in-kind services?
Yeah, so on the water asset management plan, we submitted on the town's behalf a 50% grant reimbursement request a week or so ago. With that, we documented that I believe you're in the 30% range spent on the in-kind services, so a little behind the 50% mark. But we just had a training session on using the GPS device, so your staff will be spending more time in the field the next 2 or 3 months GPS locating hydrants and valves, so they'll pick up some in-kind services there.
Yeah, I mean, I would recommend that we pursue the SRF for the asset management on the wastewater side.
Oh, no problem, no kidding, yeah.
It's money well spent, and, you know, hopefully we can get the grant through the state.
Yeah, if we can, absolutely, yeah, no, it's a good idea.
Right. And then the last thing, on the water side, I believe it was announced at the selectmen's meeting, but I just wanted to formally advise you, you got that $150,000 grant for the
50 or-
PFAS.
Was it 150 or 120?
150.
150, okay, I thought it was 120, okay.
And basically that reimburses you some of the cost on the blending water main project, so.
So how does that work, where we've already borrowed the money? So,
That's a town treasurer question, not mine.
okay. I just didn't know.
You'll
if
get
it's
some
a
money.
Reimbursement, do they just, like, we've already expended the money.
Yeah.
So it's a reimbursement, would it go to
Retained
retained
earnings,
earnings?
I would think you would be able to put it in retained earnings.
Retained earnings,
which is right where we wanna go.
Yeah, we can use that towards, I mean, I don't know if you guys saw what the debt numbers are for this year, but it's like $1 million, so.
Or if that was financed, it would go off to potentially pay off the loan.
Yeah, I just didn't know if we can take that money and allocate it over the next 3 years at $50,000 apiece or whatever towards that debt service.
It's, I'm not a municipal finance person, so,
I just, it's an unusual
yeah.
grant that they,
Yeah, most grants are post getting, you put in the grant application and then you get,
you can't do any work until you're approved.
yeah, this is retroactive, so.
It's already been done, which is very unusual for the
Yeah.
state, so. We're glad to take it, but
Right.
it's just, it was a little confusing to me as to
plain in here.
how to allocate that.
Yeah.
Okay, we can talk with Rich and figure out the best way to allocate that, whether it goes right into retained earnings or whether we use it to just pay off the debt.
I don't even know how it gets into your account.
Yeah, that's what I didn't know if it was, like, normally they're doing it through a principal forgiveness, or,
Right.
you know, it's
Yeah,
through
make
an
sure
SRF.
That's, yeah.
With the SRF, there's
Process.
wire
It's in our
transfers set up, but you don't
That is
have
a-
that yet.
That is a grant to the Water and Sewer Commission, that's not a grant to the town of Dudley, is it?
It was submitted by George, yeah,
Okay. Not that anything would happen, but
No, but I mean,
it was a general grant to the town of
it
Dudley, they
was
could do whatever
clear-
they want with
was
it.
clear the reason of the grant.
yeah, there was backup material that it was specific for the blending water
Specific
main.
For it, so.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, that's all I have.
Somehow it feels like we just spent a whole lot more money and.
Yeah, doesn't it?
Yeah. But
Thanks for coming in. I know you
it
had
is what it
another,
is.
I know you had another place to be tonight.
I did, yeah, but
Yeah, I wonder where that was.
I don't mind spending time with you guys.
Might have given an apartment off campus here, so.
Have a good night.
Okay, the next on the line is the Hank Norton PFAS litigation. And Jen is going to call, dial them in. This is Hank Norton and from, what's the name of the law firm?
Seeing,
Yeah,
just lost it.
yeah. I had it earlier too.
Napoli and.
Yeah.
Hi, Hank, this is Jen calling from the Town of Dudley Water Sewer.
How you doing, Jen?
Good, good. I'm gonna put you on hold for one moment and get Veronica on as well.
Great.
Thank you.
And who's Veronica?
She's one of the attorneys.
Oh, it's just another attorney? Skolnick and Napoli. Skolnick and Napoli.
Yep.
Hi, Veronica, this is Jen calling from the Town of Dudley Water and Sewer.
Hi,
Hi.
nice meeting you.
Hi.
Thank you for calling me.
No problem, I'm gonna conference Hank in and you'll be here with the board. Okay, everybody's there?
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
Great, yeah.
Get this.
So,
Gotta love technology.
So we wanna have them
Okay.
state who they
I'm sorry for the confusion, everybody. I would have been happy to be down there. I thought this was gonna be a Zoom, but, I made other plans with the rest of, earlier in the evening, the rest of my evening. Otherwise, I would have shot down there from Clinton, but anyways, here we are.
Okay. Yeah, we got notification that, you were proceeding with the, AFFF foam, part of the litigation. And I know one question that had come up was, is that it, or is there more to come, so to speak?
Well, we sent you a copy of the complaint,
Right.
and, we wanted to see if you were okay with it. And if so, we were gonna file it into the MDL, and then you guys would be part of the litigation.
Okay,
And therefore, if and when there's a settlement or judgment after trial, at that point, you could show some remediation costs or could reject some out, then we could, that was kind of the point of the whole thing, help you get back to, even, and get you as much as possible to reimburse your costs.
so I guess we just wanted to be sure, your target on this was the foam. Are you targeting other, potential PFAS sources?
In Massachusetts, we're targeting the 6 that DEP makes you guys test for.
Right.
And then using, that as, but for the Commonwealth requiring you to test and remediate, you wouldn't be out of pocket any monies.
Right, I think the question we were looking for, when we read that, what was it called?
Complaint.
The complaint, it was targeting just the AFFF foam manufacturer, but we had textile companies and everything else in town. We just weren't sure if there was other defendants, I guess.
Well, there are, and here's the thing. If you have this in your town, okay, if those textile manufacturers were using that product, it came from one of these defendants. That's really the large basis of this action, that there were only 23 makers in the entire world of this product, of these substances. So if it's in your water, if it's in your town, it came from one of them. They sold it to those textile manufacturers without telling them about the health hazard issues with it. So it's derivative. If you have it there, no matter, if you want to point to a local potentially responsible party and bring them into this, we can have that conversation. I'd honestly rather be at your next meeting in person to have that conversation. But as of now, you're good to go. If you're showing it in your water, it came from one of the people, one of the companies that are named as defendants in this.
Okay, I think that answers,
Can't go after everybody, you're going after the main source.
going after the source, yeah.
Right, I think,
Exactly.
I think the question just came up because the way the complaint was written, it looked like that it was just specifically the AFFF, and it wasn't any of the other, like
Known
3M that
chemicals.
was making stain resistance, or, you know,
I
whatever.
mean, you name it, it's everywhere, you know.
Yeah. But we
Like reams and reams.
we just wanted to make sure we were covered to go after all the 23 manufacturers that potentially, and it wasn't targeting just one that made AFFF foam or something.
That's correct.
Okay,
It's going after all of them, and that's gonna be that's part of the settlement negotiations, and what share, what share each will bear, and that's more internal to them than it is to the plaintiffs. But, a lot's going on, so, time has gotten a little bit of the essence of getting the complaint filed into the MDL.
Okay.
I think we all approved that.
We did approve it, yes, we just had questions.
No problem, no problem. And again, I'm sorry I'm not there. I apologize for the confusion about Zoom and personally being here.
Yeah, it's all good,
How many towns have joined the lawsuit?
yeah. Oh,
Do we know how many plaintiffs are in on this now?
There are about 620 plaintiffs nationally, and about, I need to do an inventory this week. I think we brought in about 20 plus from Massachusetts, and actually anticipating quite a few more over the coming weeks.
now, that's just your firm, there are other firms that are doing the same thing.
No, the total number of plaintiffs from all firms is 600.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And you partnered with KP Law on this now too, correct?
Yes, so, and we're working, I have to talk to them this week, so we've been doing a lot of, we just brought on, Montague, Massachusetts, last night, who we brought on through KP Law.
Okay. I think we're happy with your answers so far, go get them.
Music to a lawyer's ears.
Okay, have a good night.
Thanks.
Thank
too,
you.
Anthony. Thank you.
Thank you.
What is that?
She's one of the other attorneys.
Okay, she's with.
Yes.
Home.
Yeah, she's the one that I communicate with.
Okay.
More so than him.
Skolnick, yep. And I think Hank Norton is
The lead man.
the lead for this part of the country. Okay. Webster True Up. I don't know if this email went out to everyone or if it was just to me. But, let me pull it up. From, come on, where are you? Earl Gaber. Earl Gabor from Webster. He's the chairman of the Webster Sewer Commission. My name is Earl Gaber, and I am the Gabor, and I am the chairman of the Webster Water Sewer Commission. The Webster Commission is fairly new, 3 years old, and before our charter changed, the Webster Selectmen acted as the commissioners. Are you open to having a conversation at your convenience regarding the IMA and the true-up process? My impression of this agreement is that it is overly complicated and perhaps outdated. PFAS and NPDES regulations will further complicate the agreement. My hope would be for both commissions to work together to come up with a more simplified contract with less consultant involvement, less expense, and a more streamlined process for annual true-ups. Please let me hear your thoughts. My business email address is, and my cell phone number is. Thank you, Earl Gabor. I'm sorry, I always knew that last name in Webster as Gaber.
And Dudley Gaber.
That's, so, but that, I received that, I did mean to, that was on March 28th, I did mean to reach out to him, and between starting the new job and everything else going on, it has escaped me, so.
Can we get copies of the IMA?
What's that?
Can we get a copy of the IMA? I don't think I've seen the IMA to actually read it.
That should be in the office somewhere,
I shall investigate.
okay? You can get that, and,
It has to be at least 20 years old by now, 20, 25 years by
oh,
now.
yeah,
I
it's
will
all of
find
that. It's all of that, but it should be there.
86, 88?
That far back, yeah.
Was there an expiration date on it? Do we know?
I
Not
don't
that I
know.
read.
I don't remember, I don't know that they're, usually they have an expiration
So,
date.
I mean, they-
But it
they
may have been,
normally have an
may have
annual.
been one of those that was written for 99 years, you know, but we can look for that, and,
Update.
I will, unless there's, objection, I will reach out to him, answer his email, and I'll do that tomorrow morning, and get that, and just let him know that, you know, we're open to just, and, well,
Sure, open to any discussion.
we're open to any discussion. It's just, you know, and I think I've had a conversation with you earlier, you know, the IMA calls for an annual true-up.
Right.
We haven't heard anything, you know, up until this, we hadn't heard anything in 10 years.
Yes.
We look at the numbers and, you know, our numbers don't change, we haven't changed for 10 years. Something's changed, something has to have changed.
I mean, I just
So-
think that, you know, they think it's overly complicated, but I think it gets complicated when you're looking at it 10 years.
10
and you're
years,
trying to
10
do
years
it.
worth,
Yeah.
rather than looking at 1 year's worth of data, or
Yeah.
even two or 3 years of data. It makes it a lot tougher when you're looking at, you know, going back 10 years, okay, and what's happened in that last 10
And if you
years.
go through it and you do it annually, it's, you know what items you're looking for and what gets included in it, and you're not trying to figure that all out. So, without reading the whole IMA, I don't know that it's overly complicated, or if a 10-year period adds the complication to it.
Mr. Chairman, can I just suggest if we do have a joint meeting that we invite Paul Brinkman to it?
Yeah, that would probably be,
Sounds to me like they want to read.
that would be probably a good idea. We can talk to him and see what his ideas are, and bring them back, and.
Could, with your permission, Mr. Chairman, could we send that message to Paul, just to see what he,
I'll do that.
thinks of it?
I think I have his email address in here.
I don't have that.
Yeah, he sent, it came to me,
Oh, can you
yeah,
send it to Jen, so?
yeah,
Can send it on to Paul,
Absolutely.
with the board's permission?
sure.
Just with a message, what, just ask him what you think, he thinks of it.
Okay. But that's, why I asked her to put it on. Paul is working through the numbers and actually by speaking with Mr. Gabor, at least let him know that, yeah, we are working through the numbers, but there's 10 years of numbers there.
Mr. Chairman,
That's gonna take some time to.
in all
to digest.
reality, that's the only communication you've probably had in 25 or 30 years. We've gone as far as certified mail to town administrators over there, and it's been ignored. So, I mean, that is the first step right there.
Their board is
Yeah.
2 years old, so
Yeah.
I would imagine this last 2 years has just been,
Where we're here.
has been their period of time
Yeah.
to just get their feet, well, maybe they don't wanna get their feet wet.
Mm-hmm.
But, not a good analogy for this, but I mean, it's just to try to get
Open line.
ready,
Line going,
get their, figure out what they're doing.
Yep.
So, this is, they're at the step where they wanna deal with the IMA. Okay. Seasonal employee.
Yeah,
From you.
I just want to throw this before the board. I think it might be a good idea, especially when we get so much going on, and I mean, really a lot this upcoming spring, summer, and fall, that we might consider a part-time employee. You can determine the hours, but just somebody who can cut the lawns, do painting, cleaning, general maintenance stuff that just pulls one of our guys away. And I mean, the lawn itself could take 2 days to do all stations, trim, cut. There's a lot of trimming always, especially when we get a rainy season. Just for give everybody a helping hand so that they can concentrate on what has to be done with the big stuff. And this guy can come in and just do the wash vehicles,
It would have to be somebody over the age of 18. I was just thinking that you get somebody from the high school or something, but, a lot of that operating equipment and stuff may not be.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, that
Sure.
my concern with hiring younger part-time
Ken, you all
help,
set?
I would almost recommend you make it not a seasonal, I would make it year-round. Because what happens is you get somebody that's seasonal, it's usually younger kids, college kids,
College
whatever,
kids.
in between, they're just trying to fill their summers and make some money for college, but my experience hiring summer help, they think it's a monster truck and they'll drive your tractor off to the stone walls, they'll try to mow the stone walls and everything. You pay more money replacing and repairing equipment as opposed to if you hire, somebody that's just looking for part-time help. And I know you can't age discriminate or anything, but,
You
someone
might get a
other than
Lenny Beatty or somebody like that that'll,
So you get
just
someone like
wants
that.
to work
that
a
just-
couple hours a week to,
Exactly.
Right, and
okay?
they respect the equipment more, and if it's not seasonal, if it's year-round, I'm sure you've got plenty of stuff during the winter that's, whether it's shoveling or painting inside buildings or whatever.
How will this work with the collective bargaining unit?
We've done this before. We've had a seasonal person, and we still post the same way and then go out, same way.
Is this a union employee? Is this a,
No, this will not be.
Entitled to any
non-union.
benefits, et cetera.
Yeah.
just
I'd
a part-time
recommend
employee?
19 hours a week, and I think 20 hours triggers.
I think it's,
Benefits.
it might be 21, but yeah,
It's
yeah,
it's 1,000.
Is it 20?
It's 1,040 hours a year.
yep.
So they can do it. They can work 80 hours a week if you want. It's just when they hit that 1,040 is what triggers it. So,
19 is usually.
and if you base it on like a 19-hour a week, and that way if George has an emergency and they just need a second set of hands, you could have them so they come in and work. And if he just needs somebody to run back and grab some parts off the shelf or go get a hose or a pump or whatever, I think that works better.
They'd be taking on things like mowing and, and cleaning and doing stuff that our licensed people.
Right, I mean, yeah, you shouldn't, I mean, we see what the rates are for licensed operators, and to be paying them that much money to be cutting grass is, we got far more important things, and the regulations and the things that keep coming on and the requirements, it's just getting more and more.
Of course, the guys cutting the grass might not like this too much, but
Yeah.
that's actually a pretty smart idea.
Yeah, the only thing I would need from the board is a consensus on what to pay, what the average pay you wanna do, plus the time frame. You know, do we start on July 1st, do we start on May 1st, do we start and end them for winter, or how, whatever, I'll leave it up to the board to decide on that. It's just helpful for us through the most main troublesome seasons where we're balls to the walls.
So some of that's gonna be dictated on what you budgeted. So if you didn't, it's not like you can take and pay salaries out of your expense budget. So if you don't have money that you budgeted for in your salaries budget, that raises an issue moving forward, because you're already too late to change it at this point. So unless the plan was to go to fall town meeting and.
We can supplement in the fall.
Right.
But we've gotta have somewhere to pay for them if we do it now. It wouldn't make sense to wait till the fall, because
Right.
most
For the summer,
most
especially
work
with
is
all the
gonna be in the
projects.
summertime.
I also wanna do something that's attractive, they don't pay them $12 an hour or something, you know, it'd have to be like $18 an hour or something.
I would say, yeah, I wouldn't say anything less than 15. Just, I wouldn't go any less than that.
We'd have to have a range.
Minimum wage is $15 an hour.
Minimum wage isn't there yet, but that's what it's
I think we
moving
need to
towards.
set a range, because granted, it's, you know, just a labor job, but qualifications you're asking for, you know, can they,
It might help lead somebody into a full-time position if they like it and they, you know, wanna go get their license, and, you know, it could help, you know. always.
Is there anything in the town's rate study that would dictate any of that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I'm not
Okay,
sure what the personnel
No.
bylaws or requirements are.
so,
I don't know,
to
last time
me,
we
I'd
did
say
that,
as far as a range, you know, just throwing it at the wall to see what's stuck. I'd say maybe somewhere in the range of 15 to 20, 15 to 21. I wouldn't go much higher than that.
I have an idea of what the interns were paid and are paid. There's current interns and stuff, but they range
I think
between,
John would be helpful in a little bit of this too, because he's done this before, and he can assist a little bit as with the
He's
best way to.
also, he's in charge of personnel, right?
yeah,
but
between
problem,
16
Georgia.
and 18, depending
where's the
on.
money coming from?
That's something we'll have
To
to.
fund it, yeah.
Okay.
That's your bottom line.
If you can come up with how we might fund it for whenever our next meeting is, we haven't said it yet, but,
Should you use the overtime account? I mean, not that you wanna deplete that, but.
No, we'll figure something out. We'll figure something
take a
out.
look at the proposed budget for, the current budget and the proposed budget, and see what, if we have a way to fund that in a salary line item that we can make it work. If we can make it work, it sounds like a great idea.
Were you short a position?
Yes,
Yes.
So you're short a position, but you budgeted for it?
I believe it is.
Oh,
Yeah,
maintenance
that-
account.
that's what I
Yes,
believe
we do
it
have a
is.
funding source.
So if you
Oh,
have
that's
money in
right.
the account, it's just a
That-
matter
that's-
I
of.
kept it in there just to be in case we had a.
The separate,
That's right. Why do I keep forgetting about that? Yeah.
That's what I was just gonna look
Tom,
for.
there
I
is
believe it's still there.
that is a funding source.
So
Maintenance
if you
account.
have that, it's just a
We know
matter
that.
of, that's gonna come into play if you decide to fill that position.
Yeah.
You need to make sure it's further on in the year, you know, so that you still have that money available. But anyway, that's,
Yeah, so that, we'll have to
that's
look.
there. If you budgeted for one, then you have the funds, so.
Okay. All right, so, yeah, come up with that, you know, this is a definitive funding source. Yeah, I think, again, I think it's a great idea.
And I would recommend that George meet with Mr. Ruda,
Yep, absolutely.
just to.
To firm it up and then.
True up.
Get his input on the position itself, the hours,
Yep.
and the rates.
Indirect costs, do we have we received anything
I
from?
saw it somewhere,
You have an email in there
yeah.
with the,
Hold on.
So, if you wanna make copies, this is 3 years.
I've been asking.
I know, he told me. He's got
He doesn't like you.
dozens of records requests, and he said, so I'm handing these to you, don't get them wet, bring them to your meeting, so.
Oh, okay, there it is, okay.
Because I emailed him.
So when I went and got my papers, he
Oh, that's
he called me,
the-
so.
Because I emailed him again saying.
That's budget stuff, okay.
It is attached to it, though. They're all attached there. And I'm giving you the minute.
I don't have anything for indirects. Budgeted expenses and it's just the number, that's a flat number. I wanna see that spreadsheet where they determine,
Yeah, I mean, here's just a flat number, what they have.
where they
yeah.
determine the, is that what you just had? Where did you get it?
From Mr. Condomani when I went and got those papers today.
Oh, well, you went and got these papers?
That was what Jen was trying to get.
Oh, okay, so you just got those today?
got 'em.
Oh, okay, good. So we got those, we
We
can,
had a meeting tonight, and
we
he
can-
said,
we
I've got
can-
a bunch of records requests, so.
we can look,
So this is 21. This is 22. That's 22.
This is 2020.
Let's see how it says.
okay,
Just didn't change the dates.
while we're getting that information.
No,
That's what he told me.
That's fine.
He said it was 3
Um,
years, he said it's not one.
Beautiful. I'll make copies and be right back.
Jimmy,
Okay,
you-
the next three things are all part of the, pretty much wrapped into a superintendent's report, so.
Yep.
Why don't we move on with that, she can,
Cordis Road, possible well location I've brought to the board before.
Right.
The potential spots. I'm already had Jay Billings look at the preliminary, tests that were done back 15 years ago there. And he doesn't understand what the concerns why we didn't pursue going into that area with do some testing. So I'm moving forward with that over there. There's plenty of room in there. The homeowner is very willing to let us do whatever we want in there to get the testing done. So I'm just getting some proposals for costs, and they will be moved on to after the July 1st timeframe.
I knew that, I know why we didn't go in there, and we were advised that, like everything else, we were advised to.
And if it's
Put
a
it on the
matter,
side burner
and
for
he
now.
didn't see anything that showed any type of red flag, so I says, let's eliminate that problem right now and check it out.
For it.
So I'm
Yeah.
guessing it's similar to why you didn't maintain all the mains and
A
everything.
water source on the, I'm just trying to be,
Yeah.
I know, I'm just
Yeah.
saying,
If-
I'm assuming it's the same
if
reason.
you-
I believe, are we live tonight, Ted? Yep. We are live tonight too, so,
If, for those who
for the
don't know
three
where,
people that actually watch that station.
yeah, Cordis Road, Roberts Road, there's that open area there. Well, if you go back towards the Woodstock line from that point there, the homeowner owns all that back there. So there's already some testing wells that were developed back there, so we could probably even use those again. There was a report filed back 15 years. Part of that plan we had done.
Remember it.
Yeah, so, yes, you're aware of it there. So we'll be looking at starting that up and doing that, along with some PFAS testing at the wells at Station 3 and Station 6, because we want to start the process of finding out where the areas might be moving or going, or where we are around those. So that's kind of incorporated with that, thank you.
Find out where it's coming
Yeah,
from,
yeah.
what direction it's coming from.
Yeah, that goes with number 13, that goes along with number 13.
Okay.
The report, that I want to bring up a couple things if you hadn't had time. I'm not very happy with number 4. That, you well aware of what went on there. I know exactly what happened there, but I'm not gonna start
Yep.
getting into
Okay,
it.
yep.
Nothing's been done yet, and nothing's gonna be happening there till sometime in the May period, right now. And you
Pushed out to May?
I believe that's even pushing out to the May timeframe. We're not 100% sure yet.
Well, you see,
The
he was
information
here,
is
too.
not available. Even I've tried, the engineers tried, and we're not getting quite any answers here. So it may have to come, they're gonna start looking at some stricter avenues, we'll say, to find out what we're doing here. Because this isn't a joke, this is not good. But we're working on it.
Getting into peak time now.
That's correct. So, on the other part,
And how is this gonna affect, Bates Tank project?
if we can get it in there by just in the May timeframe, say early part of May, we should be okay to do the project. I don't think it's gonna affect it too much on baits. I've already witnessed it bone dry, with only one station running and this and that. We can pretty much handle it. Hopefully weather is gonna be good, but it's not a major problem. Once that device goes online, we're good to go. We can do anything we want, and I'll feel much better.
Have they put media in those, in that tank
No,
yet?
nothing.
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 Nothing's happened.
Nothing's happening.
So you're talking May, but our bids are due for construction on the permanent treatment
Yep.
plant on April 28th.
Yep.
So we'll be working on building the new plant before this one's even online.
Yeah.
This has been.
Does everybody understand what had happened here with this particular issue? The issue we thought originally was the pressure valves, but they weren't. That's not what the issue was. He's missing something he ordered back in December, November timeframe.
November, yep.
Okay, and the reason why it wasn't communicated with is because they were off doing another job, okay? The vendor and them didn't communicate for a while, and the vendor didn't know anything about it, and they didn't care anything as far as what isn't coming in yet, because their whole idea was to do what they had to do somewhere else, and that was another issue I had. So this led into this now. So instead of waiting for the pressure parts, we're now waiting for a device that I probably could have got within a week of back then, but it had to be their vendor, save their money, whatever, but no communication was the big problem.
I'll elaborate on that as well, because I went to one of the construction meetings with them,
I was there.
and we had asked, what parts are you having troubles with? And while we're in the meeting, I called a few people, and I said, I can have you the parts this week. And they said, oh, well, we don't wanna pay what you pay, we wanna pay through our vendor, because we get a much better price than you. And I said, feel free, we'll buy the parts, you replace them. You know, buy them from your vendor and replace them when you're done, and they refused to do that, so. So I have an issue with, and I'm not gonna beat it to death like I did in the one meeting.
Yeah,
On
we're,
that- Mr. Chairman, on that topic, is there any wisdom to suspending the work down there? If we're talking treatment plant language, and just suspend any payments and any future work down there, and eventually be prepared to move that vessel down to the Station 6 site.
no,
Once
we,
and
we,
for all.
we need that up and running while Station 6 is being built. We need Station 7 running.
This is still a couple of years out, it's not
That's
like
still a
it's-
couple of years.
Unfortunately, we need it to finish the Bates Tank
Yeah.
project, so we need that
And
up and
Crescent
running.
Hill and, yeah.
But we were talking about getting that done in December, January timeframe. We're now into April, and it's still not done.
And you agreed to pay a change order on a part that isn't what's holding up the project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we didn't need to pay for a change order and buy additional parts if there was other parts that you had to wait for.
That are available.
Yeah,
So it was a waste of money, the change order for one.
exactly.
You got ruptured
Ruptured
discs that are
disc.
useless.
Okay.
Like I said, I would push for penalties.
Yes,
But I think that's where we're all leading to now.
that's where we'll end up. I'm sure we'll end up there. Number 9?
Number 9, Jeremy,
Chairman.
DB,
What?
you have a
We wanna
question?
Just leave it as pushing for penalty, or we wanna say we're pushing for penalty?
We
You wanna wait.
we can't do anything until we get there. So, we're not there yet.
You don't need to push that until we have to get to the point that we need to pay them.
Right.
I did just wanna have, did you have money for the exploratory wells on Cordis? Did you budget for that?
No, we didn't budget for that, that's gonna go on the next, we're gonna take it out of, after July 1st anyway. That's all coming out of those, and I'll have money to
But did
play
you-
with.
I know
Yeah.
you may have money in there, but did you
No.
factor that?
No, we just kinda came up
So you're
as we,
pulling away from something else that you
Yeah.
had factored?
So we may have to look at November to
it
supplement.
maybe, we think we can, it shouldn't be too bad. But I thought this to be a big priority, cause I wanna keep things
Oh, yeah.
moving. And find out exactly where we stand, cause the sources are becoming very difficult to find now.
And just while we're talking about that, did Jay give us a proposal to identify any other
Yeah,
potential
we got a
sources?
proposal from Jay from,
Just that email that I sent out, and I did send him back asking for a detailed, cause it was just a general email.
I thought the email was just basically focused on this property.
Right, we have not gotten the entire, I have not seen
it's
anything.
supposed to be that and the stations,
Yeah, I
okay,
haven't
I'll call Jay tomorrow.
I wanna look, the whole reason it came up was they were coming trying to change the aquifer protection district based on the zone 2 and everything else, being delineated, but, you know, my question was, if we're making changes to the Aquifer Protection District, I wanna incorporate, protecting areas that have potential sources.
Yeah, I did do that with him. I
Right.
took him out to those sources, mapped them, and he is making that proposal to throw them in under the protection. And,
Okay, so
yeah.
I just wanna make sure we cover the entire
Yep.
town and potential sources.
Yep.
So we can protect them, and then I think it's probably prudent to, you're doing this, and it wasn't budgeted for, but we should come up with a plan, whether it be once a year or once every 3 years, to investigate and go through this process and do test wells. It's probably 15,000 to go through the process of at least doing that initial investigation to determine if it's viable or not.
Okay,
The rest of the report, if anybody has questions on it,
That's pretty-
move it along, it's just,
pretty straightforward.
yeah, same with sewer.
One thing, number 15, Mason Road and the sidewalk.
Okay,
Go ahead.
that has not even been marked out as far as where the lines are gonna go, cause they are gonna move that road a little bit too. But the highway superintendent did approach me about having Halleck, since he has to go do the pressure reducer valve and some other little minor work, see if he could do that work, and I explained to him that right now, there is no contract, there is no money, there is no subcontractor. So they have to hire Halleck if they want to do the job through them, for their money to be used for his work. And, right now, I says, "Look, can you at least establish that part of it?" And I guess they're finally putting things out to bid soon, so they'll have,
I would recommend that in their project, they budget or allocate a certain amount of money to have our contractors do the work.
If that's what they want, yes.
Right, but they shouldn't be paying contractors to touch our water distribution system. That should come through us, but they need to allocate, and the funds will come from their budget, but it will be contracted through our department.
yeah, I told him, so we'd be the recommending source, and we'd determine how the work is to be done, but you're gonna be the,
But they need to
Okay.
allocate
They allocate
whatever
the money.
Need to
whatever
allocate
those
the
funds
funds for
are to do that.
Yeah.
Needs to be allocated through their project.
Maybe ask them if they could tell us about how much it's gonna cost to do that work.
Right, so get a proposal from them to determine,
That would be I guess that would be the next step, for there. I have a little bit on that. I've been watching over the last 2 weeks as National Grid started marking up the intersection near the fire station on Mason Road. They've now marked all the way up to the school. They're getting ready to dig. Up until this whole sidewalk thing came up, they have, we're getting ready to pave.
right?
Now I'm assuming National Grid has to get a road opening permit from the town. The highway's giving road opening permits to a road that, by rights, a month from now, is gonna be getting full overlay pavement.
Well, I mean, my issue with that would be, they're gonna dig up a trench. We waited a year to make sure we went through a frost and everything settled correctly. So our trenches might be fine. If National Grid runs a trench up there and we're paving a month after they dig it up, now all of a sudden you got a belly in
I
a road.
think,
And we're on the hook for it.
I think what's happening right now is they're dig safing for the Mason Road project, and National Grid's marking their lines out.
No,
Because I don't think they're gonna dig any more up there, they've already got that, they already dug that area plus,
it's brand new marked on
Yeah, I
that
know, I
that
talked to- I
stretch from
talked
the
to Paul.
fire station to the school on the street. They're not doing any sidewalk work there. The sidewalk work is on the existing sidewalk that's in the woods.
yeah, I talked to Paul, who was doing
Not on
it,
the
and
road.
he couldn't tell me exactly, but it sounded like it was more for Mason Road, the sidewalk, the whole sidewalk
Because
project.
I didn't see them mark up to the school, but I saw a National Grid employee bent over painting the yellow lines on the road
George,
between the fire station.
George, do you recall if Mason Road was relayed with the new plastic pipe in the last several years from National Grid?
Just the trenches they had there, and I thought there was one down towards
Or
the
is it
school more.
still an old steel main going all the way up to Jesse Road?
They dug up in front of Jesse Road, from Jesse Road down.
Down, yeah.
A little
Hey, they
bit.
did some further down towards the school
Is there a
too.
possibility that's still a steel main that has to be replaced?
It could be,
See, I don't know.
That's the thing, I don't,
Now,
Let's
once,
see,
But nobody's, and we, as of now, we are still on the hook for any kind of an escalator on the cost of asphalt. This thing is not gonna be ready in August, or September, or October. There's no way in hell they're gonna be done by August. They don't even have a contractor yet.
is there a moratorium after we do a full overlay? Do they do moratoriums on open roads?
I have no idea. But this is getting to be, we're on the hook. Nobody has answered the question, where is that money gonna come from? Because I'm wagering that Mason Road isn't gonna be paved until 2023. And in the meantime, our contractor is sitting on the hook for all of that. That's all money that he hasn't been paid.
Right.
And he's on the hook. Now he's being delayed. He's being pushed out. This is not right. This is not right. This is not the way to do business.
Well, I would ask for a schedule from whoever's doing the sidewalk project.
Unless we just pave it and let them deal with the mess afterwards. Then they'll have to.
may have to come to that
and
type
then
of thing.
They'll have to
where-
overlay the rest of, over our overlay.
or grind it and replace it.
Just trying to figure where the ends are gonna go for that.
Who's running this show? The highway superintendent?
Right now, he's basically in it with, Bill Scanlon.
I've asked the question a couple times and I'm treated like, you know, the angry uncle. This just keeps getting dragged on and dragged on and dragged on, huh?
We just do the pavement. Let them deal with the consequences.
I mean, you know, we can do all the areas up, down, all the way to Jesse, but after you end up cutting in like that, it's not.
No, but then somebody,
Problem
but
with
then,
that is you gotta double mobilization.
Yeah.
yes.
So there's
And
a lot
again,
lot of
that's a
additional
cost.
fees.
They're not gonna double mobilize for free,
And you get
so who's gonna pay for it?
you get a better rate when you buy asphalt in bulk as
Right.
opposed to sections.
Way it's going now, we can do it early enough, they, costing going like.
Okay, and I've already had a couple people ask me, hey, when is Mason Road gonna get paved? And I have to tell them,
Don't forget, we've been out
maybe
there.
in the fall.
We're out there sometimes patching up holes that are caused by the rain or whatever too, so.
Do we have a schedule when Halleck was supposed to pave?
Yeah, that was supposed to be coming up, matter of fact,
It was supposed to be end of April
in
through
May, yeah.
So I would,
Now we're being pushed, we may be pushed to August to September.
so I would find out from Halleck what the cost is right now. And we go to the highway superintendent, say, all right, here's our costs. We're no longer on the hook for trench repairs, patches, any of that. We're ready to pave. If you're not ready, you take over that liability.
Or we're gonna pave it.
Or we move forward.
Okay,
And if National Grid comes up and digs the trench, we can't have Halleck on the hook for anything in that trench that settles or whatever issues may come from that.
Can you talk to highway tomorrow?
Well, I gotta get the information first
Yeah,
back from
so
Halleck, so.
Find out from Halleck.
I'll be meeting
Find
Halleck
out.
tomorrow anyway, and
Okay.
we will too.
yeah, they're doing the digging, they're starting to put the PRV in.
Yeah, it's Friday's the
Oh.
PRV, but he's coming out looking at some things too for that job and, some other things, so, yeah. I'll get an idea from him.
Okay. Board member comments?
Did you go over indirects and stuff while I was gone? I'm sorry.
No, we just got the numbers now.
You were gone with me.
Oh,
But I know, but I didn't know if you talked about anything else.
before we go to board member comments, on the next meeting, you still wanna meet in 2 weeks to, deal with, George and the crew have, come up with some, draft policies for us, for those few things that we were looking at, so,
Unless you wanna do like one each meeting or something like that. I made some draft plans of some of the policies, which I wanted everybody's input. I mean, they could do it, you
If
know,
you can get-
every
if-
once a meeting do one, and another meeting do another.
these
you know.
meetings, you know, we've got 16, well, I mean, two of them
have
are opening
drafts,
and
I would
I'm
adjourning.
say
gonna
get 'em
send
to
them out,
us.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
send them out, I wanted to
Just
make
send
sure
'em
he
out.
was all set.
So, send them out to us and, what?
Let's
And if you have a
post a
priority.
meeting for 2 weeks, and if
Okay.
we do not have it, and wait till then, you know, but if the agenda for next meeting looks like it's gonna be a big one, we might as well have one
Yeah, I
in 2
mean,
weeks.
we're gonna be dealing with a
Yeah.
lot of this stuff on a regular basis. It just seems like, for, at least for the short term, that would be the 20th. Any issues there? 20th at 6:30 for policies and procedures and a very select few must-haves that might fall into it. Okay. Board member comments? Jay?
No. I'm all set.
Tom? Bill? No. One other, just one real quick other thing. It's in the superintendent's report, the water main break on Oxford Ave. I went down there for a while.
Thank you for the pizza, Scott, everybody appreciated it.
You know, went and got pizzas for the crew. Had 3 guys from the highway.
I had to have 3 guys, 2 dump trucks, 2 backhoes. We had the whole, you saw the size and deepness of the hole. But we still got out at 9 hours.
Yeah.
Still after
It was a big.
Ramco opened his pit for us. We could go right to the pit directly and load up stuff.
And then, and I did notice in the bills, in the vouchers that we signed, that the fuel card stuff is now coming with actual detailed who signed in when and what the mileages are.
Yeah,
So
that's.
we're actually getting the information now, so.
I think you'll
that's good.
find, I
Thank
think you'll
you.
find Luke's truck to be the most fuel, because he's the meter stuff.
I did happen to notice that one person, their mileages were screwed up.
Well,
They goes from here, and then goes down, and then it goes up, so. But that's fine, they're all in the ballpark.
So just speaking on that break, do you have any standard specs? 'Cause you got every material you can think of for mains through town.
No, we've got,
I think it's something that we should probably push forward with at some time. It's rather involved, and there'll be a book about that thick, but you kinda wanna standardize. It's, class 52 ductile iron, cause that was all plastic, right?
that was all the AC plus connecting back to the plastic we had done last year.
But you got mixed matches of all this stuff. and
Yeah.
That's why you have all these issues. I mean, you stick with class 52 ductile iron,
You do all your repairs with the plastic.
that's all you allow in town. I mean, the plastic, it wasn't really designed for being in New England. Obviously, no more AC, you don't want gas, you don't want pressure rating, pressure class ductile. Same with hydrants, you don't wanna have, one contractor comes in and he puts in all Clow, another comes in, puts in Eddy.
Yeah, we're standardized on all Eddy. We've maintained standard piping,
Right,
standard hydrants,
That's
standard.
just what you tell
When
people
new stuff
when they
is
come
put
in,
in, yeah.
but you don't have a written spec, they can come in and argue with you that, well, I don't need to use these, you don't have anything, and I've seen a different brand in town, but.
Is
you have a-
ductile iron even available? Well, that's what I mean. I mean, you got a water main break, you gotta fix it
I
with something.
stockpiled a bunch of stuff before this happened through my sources, so we're okay right now, providing we don't have too many go on.
Yeah, okay.
I've got several thousand feet, but.
Oh, I know, hey.
Know where to get it.
See a truck at night, come and grab it, you'll know
It's
it's us.
locked in the gate.
Yeah.
Red
That-
flags.
with a dog.
We got bitten somewhere.
Okay,
But it's another thing that we need to add to our list of things to do is come up with standard specs, so. It just
okay,
keeps all the contractors in line and keeps everything standard across the board.
yes.
Less spare parts, less everything.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn?
Oh, indirect.
Oh, no, we'll
Also,
have to do that at another
He wants
point.
to take time to go through it all.
We have to take time
Beautiful.
to.
Take all the time you
take
need.
time to digest it. We're budgeted for this year already, so.
Yeah, okay,
But
just wanna make sure
the-
you're.
the- we can fight the fight.
You can look
And
at
I know
it,
it's
but you
coming,
never
so.
win when you contest it, you know?
Yeah.
We fight, yeah.
But I think everybody needs a chance to actually, we have the numbers for the last 3 years. We can look at it and we can be ready. I think that will be something that'll be on the agenda
In 2 weeks?
in 2 weeks.
Okay.
And and try to keep, only time-sensitive stuff, but that and those policies. So keep it relatively short. Okay? Motion, second? All in favor?
Aye.
Awesome.